Hey everybody, welcome yet again to the Sharpe Way. Yesterday I had an amazing Sharpe Way with the amazing Governor Gary Johnson and Judge Jim Gray, and I missed my usual Monday Ask Me Anything, so I've decided that we're going to do a Tuesday, special Tuesday AMA Ask Me Anything, and the logic behind that is I want you to be able to ask me anything, and the evenings, as you know, those of you who know what's happening in the Libertarian Party, the evenings are packed full of all types of events and AMAs and debates and all kind of stuff. So I'm trying to do a little bit earlier. Today we are doing an early Sharpe Way. 4 p.m. Eastern is not the norm, but we're doing it this time. As always, guys, it's important that you like, comment, and share. As soon as you see it, if you're going to watch, share it in the places, comment, click that like. It matters. It gets those cool algorithms going because I'm the tech genius that I am. And you will all of a sudden find these algorithms moving and we'll get more and more people to watch what we're doing. And always, please go to the Sharpe Way Facebook, like the Sharpe Way Facebook, subscribe to the Sharpe Way YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, go on YouTube now, like on the Sharpe Way, subscribe. It's important. And of course, Twitter too. All of these matter. They all go together. And if you've got a couple of bucks, awesome. Heading over to patreon.com/SharpeWay. Throw me 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks if you got it. If you're doing well. If you're not doing well, no worries. I know a lot of people are worried and having trouble with COVID. Just like, comment, and share. It is free. So as always, I try my best to answer all the questions that you guys want. I try very much. And yes, I have been busy. I am literally somehow online, give or take 8 to 10 hours every day, give or take in some way, shape, or form. A lot. I have to be. This is the new form of campaigning, right? Is this form. So I'm out there somehow, some way, 8 hours or so a day. That's how I campaign. Yesterday, I did something like 7 or 8 events in some way to include radio. I am already, some of you may not know, I'm already getting press. And I'm getting press now because of my time before. People still know who I am. They remember me from my last campaign. And when they heard I was running, they've been asking to get me on local radio. So far, I've done 4 separate local radio interviews, which is great. I love that. There are more people who want me on, but they're waiting for me to get the nomination. Hopefully, the nomination will come this week, and then I will get even more. I appreciate it. So yes, I've been busy. This is the way we're going to move things forward. This is the back and forth. I think that's really the answer, Shelly. So you're right. I've been busy, but we kind of have to be busy. James, thank you so much, my friend. Yes, in fact, I was wearing your shirt the other day. I don't know if you saw that episode. It was about 2 weeks ago. I was wearing the shirt, the Jara Farm shirt. I know you guys, I see you guys on Facebook all the time, rocking and rolling. So yes, for those who don't know, heading over to Jara Farms. They are in, is it western, southern tier-ish part of New York? Kind of western-ish, southern tier-ish part of New York. If you need something, heading over to Jara Farms. Great people, a lot of stuff. Head up to their website. Go ahead, please check them out, Jara Farms. Love that place. Thank you, James, for watching. I really appreciate it. So, yes. What the hell is Johnson Ahmad thinking? And how do you think the judges' chances, you and the judges' chances look now? That's a good question. My gut tells me, and there's a lot of rumors out there about why Justin came in, why he didn't come in. To be clear, I do not have any specific knowledge. I'm telling you my feeling based upon what I saw only. So I do not have any specific information, just my feelings on what I saw. I think Amash didn't take the initial part as seriously as he should have. I think he was busy being a congressman. He was busy dealing with things that he thought were more important, which, I get it. You're a sitting congressman. That's important. I get it. The sad part is the party doesn't care about that. The party cares about the party. So his responsibilities as a congressman and his desire to make the party happy, I think, clashed early on, and he picked his responsibility as congressman. And when you do that, it means it's slower to come to assist us. And when he came to us, he didn't realize what a monster it was to be a libertarian candidate. It's a monster. And he started seeing that. And I think he realized that maybe it isn't the right time. I think he saw how difficult things were going to be. He saw that it may not work. And I think that's why he decided to leave. That's my opinion. Again, I have no information. It's how I looked at it and what I see from the outside. I think that's what he just realized. Wow, this may not work for me. Why do it and then not get the impact that he wants to get? Not make the impact that he wants to make. It's a big commitment. I say the same thing, right? God, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take 6 months off. Shelley just said it. I spend all my time doing this. I'm not working, right? I'm not spending time with family and friends. I'm doing it. Well, you guys are my family and friends, so I am, but not my immediate family and friends. I'm not doing that. I'm instead doing this here. So I think Amash thought it's not gonna be worth it. That's my gut. That's my gut, and I get it. It makes sense. It totally makes sense. But the other issue here is I'm happy that he came in. I am. People might think, well, wait a minute, he shook things up and took some votes from you and Gray. I think that's true. I think a lot of people jumped off the Gray train and jumped on the Amash train. I think that's true. I think it's obvious. You can look in the stats. It's true. It's what happened. I get it. Even with that, I'm still glad he came in because he brought some press. He brought us some press. He brought us more than we would have gotten. He brought us more interest than we would have gotten without him. So I'm happy he came in. All good. I hope he stays. From what I understand, he will still help out whoever our nominee is. I hope he'll still do that. So I'm happy he came in. I think it's odd that he left, but whatever. All good. Even though him coming in did absolutely punish the judge and I. Absolutely did. And still worth it. I mean, I care more about the party and make an impact than a vanity run. So I'm if he would have won and booted me out, fine. Whatever would have been good for the party. I think the chances for the judge and I are amazing. I think we are. I mean, I'm clearly biased, but I think that we are the obvious unity candidate. We are the obvious candidates that will help the party down ballot. Everyone who knows me, if you've watched me for the last 4 years, all I've done is pushed heavily for the down ticket, right? For down ballot, for the local people to win off of my press, off of my, I hope, example, off of my team, off of my social media. That's all I've ever done. I've been pushing that, right? I've been the support guy, right? There was someone who, when I was in New Jersey, asked me, he said, Larry, what is your movie archetype? And I said, I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm the guy who dies fighting Darth Vader so the rebels could win, right? That's me, right? I'm the guy who helps others to win. So that's all I've done. And look, as I said earlier, if you don't care about that, if down ticket isn't what you care about, we're not the right ticket for you. But if down ballot is what you care about and winning locally next year and the year after, next 4 years matters, there's no better ticket than Gray Sharpe. I've been going to multiple, over 60 different conventions, both local and state, for the past 4 years. The only people I've seen there who are running now, besides me, Adam Kokesh, Judge Jim Gray. That's it. Nobody else. Not doing anything. They haven't been. Those three people, me, Adam Kokesh, Judge Jim Gray, we've been out there. Nobody else. So of the people running, I'm sorry. Lots of people have been doing stuff. Of the people running. I'm going to be clear. I should be clear on that, right? So we're going to keep doing it. Imagine how much more we can do if we get the nomination. So I think our chances are great. I think they're much higher. I'm very happy with how we're looking right now. If Joe Jorgensen is nominated the LP president nominee, would you still be interested in being the VP? You know, people ask me this in some form or another. Will I stay in if it's not the judge, something like that? I want to be clear about this. I love the judge, but it isn't only the personal connection with the judge that I absolutely have, and I love him. But it's also what I just said. Can we make impact? Some of you may not know this. We're already doing polling, right? Nobody else is. We already have PAC set up. Nobody else does. Well, I'm not sure. Hornberger has the Mises PAC, so Hornberger has a PAC. But no one else has a PAC up besides Hornberger has one. We have two. So that already committed to support us. So we're going to have money. We're going to have polling. We're going to make impact. And we have a plan to win a couple of states, maybe more, to use that press within those states, the same tactics that I used in New York State, going to local markets first, which gains the momentum so you can get bigger markets. That's how I got Joe Rogan. That's how I got all those bigger. That's how I got it all, by doing that type of thing, right? Growing. That's how I got the Albany TV shows. That's how I got the NPR TV. That's how I got them all, right? By doing that. He's on board. The judge is on board with that. I haven't heard anybody else who has that and has that plan. If Joe has that and has that plan, I'm in. If she doesn't, no. And that's not trying to be mean. Let me be clear. And nothing to do with Joe. I think Joe's amazing. I've had her on my show. She's awesome. My worry is, can she or anybody else, this isn't the Joe thing, or anybody else, can they get the backing and the planning and the dedication that the judge has? If I believe that, I'm in. If I don't, I'm not. And there's a part of this that's selfish. To be clear, I don't want to try to pretend like I'm being the all sacrificial lamb here. You know, this part that's selfish. If I'm going to sacrifice 6 months of my life, and that's what this would do, I want to have impact at the end of it. I sacrificed 1.5 years of my life for New York State, and we got impact. People elected, the state's rocking and rolling. It's a libertarian party now. There was impact. People won throughout the states. We built a policy library. There was clear impact with my race in New York State. If I see impact in this one, I'm in. If I don't, I'm not prepared to sacrifice for no impact. Just not. And I know it sounds horrible, but I'm being forward. I want you guys to understand where my head is as to why I would do what I would do. I hope that answered your question. That also answers your question too. So yes. What federal departments would Gray Sharpe administration first think to eliminate? There's actually several of them. He wants to do an audit is his whole issue, but he's already brought up things like he wants to get rid of the Bureau of Indian Affairs, if I'm not mistaken. He also wants to gut the Department of Education, maybe eliminating it, but officially gutting it right away, and then maybe even eliminating that also to make sure there's no teeth in it. The first thing he wants to do is get rid of the teeth of all these pieces. So he wants to begin to get rid of he wants to make sure they don't have the strings attached to the local areas. So I think those two he's mentioned specifically, but there's an overall audit. Just go through, and not just an audit. This is the thing that I love about it. He wants to have an audit to eliminate, and he wants to eliminate by defunding, right? That's the way he wants to eliminate. There's no money for it. It goes away. That's his style. He doesn't believe executive order is actually the right way of doing it. He believes defunding is the right way of doing it. So he would defund it, and then that's how it would go away. That's he's a judge, so he wants it the legal way. He thinks that's the legal way of making it go away. But then on top of that, anything that isn't immediately eliminated or cut immediately is then put on a 5-year sunset. So at every 4 or 5 years, you got to come back and say, hey, I'm valid, I'm doing something. And then you go. Because for sure, whatever we want to eliminate, the Congress is going to fight us on some of them, maybe most of them. Who knows? Remember, a lot of the government is a jobs program. So a lot of these congressmen and senators, they want to keep these departments, not because they work, they do anything, but because they have cronies who are hired there, right, who work there. So they're probably going to fight us on many of them. So it may be a back and forth. People think all the time, particularly libertarians, we're going to go in and get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of this, get rid of that. That's harder than you think. Remember, this is a world full of cronies and a lot of people who, it's a massive jobs program. So you're going to have people fighting you on every single bit. So what I would say is, let's chop them all up, bring them all down, put them on rotation, and before they all begin to go away. The next thing to remember is, if Congress sees that the people want this to go away, and there's the key, Boyd, do the people want this to go away? Then Congress begins to get it and go, wait a minute, this is unpopular, so I should get behind it. Not because I care about the government, because they don't. Because I'll be on the wrong side of a popularity contest. So I need to jump on board. And when that begins to happen, they can tell their cronies, guys, you got to leave. You got to go find someplace else. You got to go. And then you'll see more and more. It will become a snowball, right? If you start with one and an audit, you'll watch them all begin to fall. I think you see that often in many large organizations. I think government is no difference. I hope I answered your question. So Amash was the Beto O'Rourke. Did he want to grab guns? I don't know. Maybe. Personally, I think Amash has a much better chance to be runs in 2024. Look, I think you're totally right, Renda. I wish more people who come to our party would follow what you just said. And the person I'll bring up is Lincoln Chafee, right? If Lincoln Chafee had just come into our party and said, you know what, I think I may be libertarian. Let me join the party. Let me stay here for 4 years. Let me help out other candidates, learn, go to our conventions, support a couple of candidates, be involved. I think he actually would have become more libertarian by default, just being around us for 4 years, kind of seeing us, understanding our language, how we speak, all those things. And then if he had run in 2024, he might have won, right? If he had gained our trust, if he had changed along with us, if he had fought in the same trenches that we fought in, he might have had a chance of winning this thing. I wish more would do that, right? I joined the party in 2012, and I was supporting candidates mostly through writing checks, but also through showing up and helping people out from 2012 to around 2016. I didn't run till 2016, right? I was in the party, actively in the party for 4 years before I ran, trying to understand and get it. And I was nowhere near as libertarian when I first came in 2012. So I think if more people would follow that model, and I think you're right, they'd have a better chance of gaining trust, of winning nomination, and they would know us better. I think that's really the answer. They would know how to kind of answer some of those questions, deal with some of those issues. What do you say to people who believe that only the duopoly has any chance to win any office? Well, I would think you can look around and see we've had victories. In New York State, we've had 7 specifically people who are just libertarians win office. So right there, that's not true. We have a couple of independents in our House or Senate who won, who are third parties. So it's just factually not true. And we actually had almost a revolution during right before our Civil War. Republicans were a third party, and they replaced the Whigs. In my history, right, it was Whigs, right? So they replaced the Whigs. So I think it's just factually not true. It has happened more than once. And if you believe that, then that's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You're saying, I only want to pick the lesser of two evils, and that's it. So which state's likely to turn gold this election? We're unsure right now. We're still doing polling to figure out what states. We're doing some big and small states and trying to figure out who is able to turn, meaning change their mind, who is prepared to vote third party who hasn't voted before. And the problem with that is, and some of you who are in the polling know this, it's not one poll because there are so many different things to think about. Are there Democrats and Republicans now who will self-identify as not too happy, and then will they self-identify as will vote third party, and then how does libertarian work, and then people who don't vote, and then if they do vote, where would they go? So it's really a bunch of polls that we have to mix together with some guessing on top of it, kind of interpreting the data. So I wish I had the answer. We're assuming there'll be smaller states, meaning by population. That's the assumption. By population, we're assuming. And we're also assuming there'll be more independent, like New Hampshire is a relatively independent state, Maine, Wyoming, Idaho. These states tend to be more independent leaning. So we're assuming it's those, but to be forward right now, we don't know. But that's some of our assumptions. It takes a long time to figure this out. And it takes money, which luckily, as I said, we already have some. So we're already making that happen already. The other candidates, I don't think they are. If they are, they're not telling anybody. We have an actual plan, and we're already on it. We're already working on that plan. So I wish I had a better answer, but we are working on it. Those are states we think might be the case. Also, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Maine actually splits up their delegates. They don't give all the delegates to one person. So fighting in Maine may be worth it because we may get one of, I think it's 4 total delegates in Maine. We might get electors. We may get 1 or 2 out of Maine. So it'll be in that area. Good. Do you feel that increasing states' rights could be a good recruiting tactic on the Libertarian national stage? As a general rule, it's not great. And what I mean by that, right now, what we've seen in some of the polling we've done, and you look at other polling, what people care about more than anything else right now, and heavily because of COVID, is safety. That is a very high polling piece, safety. So we can do it as long as we put the message out, which if you paid attention, I don't know if you've been watching, Noah, I've been talking about this, how local control would have made us safer, right? Local control actually allows us to react faster and to create appropriate protocols. If we spin it in that way, to say the federal government, its overreach didn't help and made us less safe? I think yes. It can be spun in a way that people will hear it. And it should be based in some way upon we will be better off if we have more states' rights. If we just, the idea of states' rights isn't a sexy idea for the average American. And if you're on the left, the idea of states' rights goes, oh, you just want slavery. I know it makes no sense, but you know that's where they go, right? So the hard left will go there. You've got to make the states' rights issue an issue that shows value for the individual. And in this case, I think safety is the number one. So it can, absolutely. I think you can let people be who they want to be as long as it includes some form of safety. I hope that was clear. Any chance of dropping the audio from all of your media appearances on your podcast? It's not a bad idea, Derek. I hadn't thought about it. Let me see if I can get my team to do this. Yeah, because I've had a couple of them. I was just on a radio show yesterday out of Iowa. So, yeah, I should try that. Thank you for that. Since Amash flakes out, you're pretty much the only person out of the LP I like right now. Well, I'd like you not to call him flaking out, but fine. Thank you. I hope more people think that I'm the right choice. I hope so. I'm trying to be the person that people can come to. I'm trying to be the person who will accept, the most people in. I really hope so. Larry, what are your thoughts on the money printing going on, and what do we do if we face a currency crash and social unrest? Ryan, this is something that I am scared of, and this is something that the judge talks about all the time. The deficit being a critical piece, one of the most important pieces, and man, is it not. People aren't talking about it. They're just like, print more money and print more money and print more money. It's a big problem, and I'm hoping that eventually we have to somehow either put a stop on it, or in my perfect world, my realistic world, if we could do this, is we actually create a second way of raising money so that we can begin to pay off our debt. Because if we can't pay off our debt, we're in trouble. One of the things I've been asking about is to audit the Fed. I tell this story often. I'll be fast when I say it, because some of you have heard it a million times. But I was teaching, and I teach New York City agencies. And one of the agencies I was teaching, someone during the class said, oh, it's about 4 or 5 years ago, said, oh, I'm so glad we have the Fed. Oh, the Fed, it saved us during 2008. And I said, So all I did was ask. I said, do you guys know if that the Fed is a private bank? Give or take 20 people there, all professionals, all educated, all credentialed. Youngest was probably 30. Oldest was probably 60. Gives you an idea. More men than women. But that gives you an idea of what the group was. Of that group, none of them knew that. Not one. If they didn't believe me, not even didn't know it, didn't believe me, called me a liar. That's not true. No, that's not true. I said, go on your phones, Google it. And they did. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. Do you know the Fed just magically makes money? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Check it. Google. Boom. Yeah. That was telling to me, Ryan. A lot of Americans don't understand what the Fed does. They don't get it, which is why I always talk about audit the Fed, open them up, look at the books. Because when you do that, the people start going, oh, it's a private bank, isn't it? Yeah, it's basically a cartel. It's basically a banking cartel that the government's given a monopoly to. Whoa, that sounds terrible. Yeah, it does sound terrible. And because it is terrible, and they just keep printing money, and they just create a horrible loss of buying power, and it's nothing but bad, and they help create booms and busts and all those things. Yeah. So Ryan, I think the answer is 1, trying to find another way of raising money, and 2, auditing the Fed so that people understand how bad this is. I think most people, and COVID has made this even worse, they're so worried about what's going to happen next month, next quarter. Ryan, they don't care. They don't care. They're like, I don't care. Print money. I got to pay my bills this month. I got to get my kid to college. I got to get a job. Print the money. I don't care. That's how I think most Americans right now think. We have to calm them down, give them some hope, and then start looking at, look, this is a long-term disaster. And what I think might happen, you're talking about social unrest. It is my gut feeling that after the election in 2020, if we don't do really well, and I mean this, again, I'm biased. I don't care. I'm biased. Fine. If this party doesn't do well, and have its arms open for all the people who are going to be so unhappy no matter who wins in 2020 in November. There's going to be sporadic violence throughout our country. It'll be sporadic here or there. You're going to see it. Sporadic violence. People who feel it doesn't matter anymore. And what's the most dangerous thing? Somebody who has nothing to lose. When someone has nothing to lose, that's dangerous. And I think, Ryan, what you're talking about is exactly important. I talk about it. I'm not sure we can do anything about it because I don't think that people are going to hear it until they're calm, until their ears are open and go, okay, let's discuss this. And I think an audit will help. And another way of raising money will also help. I hope that was a good answer. Should we request our local media interview? Yes, Shelley, you should. You should bug them on a daily basis and say, why the hell aren't you interviewing Larry Sharpe? Absolutely, you should do that. Yes, please do that every single time. Yes. Larry, great name, Larry, by the way. Does your plan include getting on the stage for the national televised debates? This exclusion is a killer, and it seems to have a very high hurdle. You're right. We have a plan for it. It's not a great plan. I'm telling you, folks, it's not a great plan. It's the best one we have. The odds of us getting on the debate stage are slim. I know. I dealt with this in New York State. Let me be very clear about debates. You guys will hear me talk about it. You should tell people about this. Debates are not about getting information out. They aren't about informing the public. Debates are all about ad revenue. Ad revenue is it. That's what matters. CNN, Fox, MSNBC, they want ad revenue. So what's going to happen? The odds are they're going to give me and the judge, because we're going to win, they're going to give me and the judge a town hall, right? CNN town hall. They gave it to Johnson and Weld. Last time they gave him 2. They'll probably give us 1. They're going to give us town hall. It might be digital like this. It might be in person by the time it comes around. You never know. It could be July, August. They might give us 1. Who knows? But anyway, we're going to get some kind of town hall. If we're boring, if we just answer questions, if we're not exciting and dynamic, that's the end. We're going to get 1 town hall and nothing else. But if we're exciting, if I say some funny stuff, if I tell some jokes or something, I'll get the judge to do something cool. I'll be in his ear. We'll say something interesting. We'll say something that to them will be insanely radical. It'll be regular libertarian stuff for us. But for the rest of the world, it'll be insanely radical. We'll say some of those things. We'll do some of that, and we'll get some excitement, and we'll get people to watch. We use our social media to talk about it and to put it online and to blow it up on Twitter. And they go, whoa, look at all these likes and clicks. We can get tons of money for ad revenue on this. That won't be enough, Larry. What will happen is that they'll go, okay, this is worth another shot. Then they'll give us a second town hall. If we knock that out of the park, we're in debates. Because the issue is right now, if at this moment, say we win on Friday, and they go debates on whatever next week, and all of a sudden the debating commission goes, we've been hit in the head with a brick, and we've decided that we're going to put libertarians on the debate stage. Here's what will happen: Trump will say, "I'm not showing up. I'm not talking to libertarians." That's all he'll do. He won't show up. And when he doesn't show up, there's no debate. What are they going to have? Biden and Gray? No, Biden's not going to show up then because Trump's not there. So there's no debate. So when there's no debate, what happens? CNN goes, whoa, that's a bunch of ad revenue we just lost. We won't do a debate. What we'll do is a town hall with a Democrat and Republican, and we'll be excluded. So it doesn't matter if we win our lawsuit. It doesn't matter. If Trump doesn't show up, there's no debate. That's how it works. How do I know that? That's what happened to me in New York State. Literally. The governor didn't show up. The League of Women Voters had a debate. The governor didn't show up. It wasn't televised. I won that debate, and dumb people saw it with the people in the room. But I go the opposite way. I bring it up often. I'll keep bringing it up, guys, because it makes sense. What happens if Kim Kardashian decides she wants to run for president? She could announce now and make up her own party. It's the I Love TV party. She'll be in debates. Why? Because people would love to watch Kim Kardashian and or Kanye West debate. You'd watch that. So would I. We'd all watch that. That's ad revenue. So they would be in the debates. So we do have a plan. I get it's not a great plan, but I think it's the best plan to get us on the debate stage, because that's what they really care about, is will we be popular enough to where there's ad revenue? Because in the case of the Kim Kardashian, If Kim Kardashian goes to debate and Trump says, I'm not going, yeah, we'll still watch Kim and Biden debate. Yeah, we will. We will still watch it. He's no longer required at that point. So he'll show up because he won't have a debate without him. So it's a rotate, right? Because they'll have it with her, he would show. We have to have that. And right now, we just don't have that. All right. I did cover this earlier. I do think that it will be certain states where we're polling now. I don't know which ones, independent states. That's the ones I think will actually win. What we'll campaign on there is the most important piece. Your vote matters, right? In these states, your vote matters. Your vote matters. Remember, give or take 40 to 60%, depending upon where you are in this country, don't vote. Don't vote. Well, why? They think it doesn't matter. And usually they're right. They're usually right. So we can show them, no, your vote does matter. Look what you can do. Will that get everybody up? No. But a big enough chunk? Yeah. To hear our issues, right? To hear that we have a better way of making this country better, of making you better, of making you happier. We have a better way of making that happen. When we talk about that, all of a sudden, you'll see things begin to shift. So I think we demand it and boycott any channels that refuse. All right, I'm in. Do that if you want to. Sure. I know a little about the judge, but I trust your judgment. Thank you, Jeremy. I hope more people believe that, right? Look, I'll be clear. The judge has some policies that aren't great for many libertarians. I get it. It's true. And this is an and, I'm doing my best to shift and adjust. As you've seen, if you've been watching, I'm in his ear. We're shifting and we're adjusting. We're making them better. We're working on policy to the best of our ability. And when we go to the mainstream, they'll be even better. When we go out to, they'll be even better. We're getting better and better with his policies. We just are. We're getting better and better. All I'm saying is with that, with all of those issues, and there are issues. I'm not going to sit there and say they aren't. There are. With those issues, still the best opportunity for us to make impact, maybe win, but even if we don't win, to get impact for the down ballot for the next 4 years. That's the critical piece that I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for that. I'm not doing it because people ask me all the time, Larry, why don't you run for president? That's not what I want. What I want is for us to win down ballot. I can do that in this position. That allows me to do that. That's why I'm doing it. So I'm getting what I want by doing this. So I hope that's clear. So on Liberty Late Night last week, Judge Gray said he'd like everyone who owns a gun to have training. I'm assuming that's a preference and not a policy position. That is correct. Yes, look, you can like lots of things and want lots of things. Yes, he's not saying there's a requirement. No, he's saying that's a should, not a shall. Let me be clear on that. That is a should, not a, and he's right. You should absolutely have training before you own a gun. It's not a requirement, not in the Constitution, but yes, you should. So if we're going to push it all day long. It's a great thing. Talk about it. Push people. Get them to do it. 100%. I have no problem with talking about how you should be a smart, educated gun owner. Yes. I hope that was clear. What's his position on Planned Parenthood and abortion in general? There was a polarizing issue. Yes. The judge is pro-choice, but does not want to fund Planned Parenthood. So I think that's basically the libertarian standard stance. Is pro-choice, and he does not want to fund Planned Parenthood. He does not believe the government should be paying for people's abortions. I hope that was clear. All right. Can you expand on your Ellis Island at the border program you spoke about in the past? Yes. The idea behind this is to have two things. To still have secure borders and have vibrant, easy immigration. That's the issue. Now, I know that the Libertarian Party's platform is open borders. The country is not open borders, just isn't open borders. And the judge isn't either. So if that's a deal breaker for you, I understand. I hope our compromise is a good enough compromise. And here is the compromise. The compromise is 2 Ellis Islands on the southern border. One in probably California, one maybe Texas. I'm not sure what it is. If you want to come to our country, you go to the Ellis Islands. When you go there, they make sure you're not a terrorist or you don't have some kind of, illness that might hurt other people, whatever the case may be. It's very nicely done. Why? It's by private companies. Private companies, each separate, they compete against each other, right? So now the people who are coming will choose which one to go to. So if it's poor or bad or they're horrible, no one will go there. So that makes each of them have to be good and humane. And of course, you're going to inspect them also, but they have to be. Otherwise, people won't go there. When you go there, assuming everything's good, you get what's called an orange card, which is just a work visa. You get a 2-year work visa. Awesome. Off you go. Now you pay taxes, all that good stuff. Now, the judge has been against DACA, not because of the stuff in the DACA. He's been against DACA because of the way it was put together. He's like, that executive order shouldn't exist. If you want a DACA program, you've got to make a law. That's how the judge feels. He thinks the actual, the idea of DACA has a lot of flaws because of that. The two parts we want to keep in from DACA, we're going to copy to this idea. And that is, you have to check in every 2 years. So every 2 years you check in. And second, no public assistance or form of welfare whatsoever while you have your orange card. It is literally against the law to get any public assistance or any form of welfare while you have your orange card. So while you're working, you pay taxes, but you don't take, which means you're basically just paying to work here. And we're fine with that. No worries. Enjoy. You don't ever have to get a green card if you don't want to. If you just want to work and then go back home, go. No worries. You want to get a driver's license? You'd be legal. You want to pay taxes? You're legal. All good. You are now a documented worker. Enjoy. Live your life how you want to. Now, here's the issue with that. There's several. So I'm going to go down the road because I always get tons of questions. The first thing is, how's it going to affect the give or take 11 to 12 million undocumented workers we have in the United States? Well, most of them aren't going to go to Ellis Island, but some will. Why? Because there's always early adopters. That's how it works. For the sake of argument, say 500,000 go to the Ellis Islands. And you don't have to come from Mexico. You can just walk from, I don't know, Toledo. I don't care where. Take a train, fly, go to the Ellis Island whenever you want. You go there and go, yeah, I was just working in New York City. I want to be legal. Okay, great. Check you out. Got no diseases, got no criminal record. Life is good. There's your card. Go back to New York. Boom. When he goes back to New York into his enclave, people are going to say, you went to the Ellis Island. They didn't deport you? No. Gave me a card. I'm good now. I pay taxes. I don't have to worry about stuff. If I get harassed, I can call the cops. If the drug dealers want to make me a mule, I can say no. Look at that. Others will begin to go. That will happen. But Larry, there are bad people here. There are. That's true. There are some bad people here. Or as the president says, bad hombres. There are some bad hombres here. There absolutely are. Will they go to Ellis Island? Of course not. They're bad hombres. However, right now, law enforcement physically can't get them. Almost impossible. Why? So many people who are undocumented. We don't have the manpower. We don't have it. But more importantly, most of these people live in enclaves. And when they go to an enclave and they say, where's bad guy Juan? No one says anything. They run away. They're all undocumented. They're afraid of the cops. They're afraid of getting deported. Well, now, Cool Sally says, oh, no, I'm legal. Where's bad boy Juan? Right there. Go get him. That's him. Go get him. Law enforcement can get the bad guys now. And the bad guys can get deported because they're bad guys. They'll go to jail or whatever the situation. They can do that now. So it's actually better and safer. Everyone gets safer. Everyone gets better. More people can go in and out. Right? Cross the border if they want to. You want to drive home? Drive home. You can get a driver's license because you have an orange card. You're legal. Right? You're documented. Life is good. Now, what about people crossing the border anyway? I get that all the time. Well, people will cross the border anyway. Some will, and most of them will be bad hombres, right? I like that phrase, bad hombres. So most of them will be that. Well, now the people who are on the border now, you don't have to hire any more Border Patrol agents. In fact, probably less. And they can still patrol the border just looking for the bad guys. The only people who would starve in a desert, I hope no one starves in the desert. But if someone does, it's the bad guys. It's not the regular people. They go to the Ellis Island. Still not done. How do you pay for the Ellis Island? How do you build it? No taxpayer dollars at all. None. Private companies, and they're paid like currently recruiting companies. Literally right now, if you know anything about this field, literally the hospitality industry, farming industry, they put thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars into the black market to get workers. They're doing it probably right now as we speak. Even with COVID, I bet they are. They do it all the time. Okay, stop that. Instead, give it to the Ellis Island, and they'll give you workers. Recruiting companies do it now. They get paid. They make tons of money by providing workers. Do that. So you get paid by providing workers. Not just that, you could sponsor the damn thing. Why not? Put someone's name on it. We care about America. We care about workers, whatever. Have a union sponsor so they can get these people as union workers if they want to. Because now you can become a unionized worker if you want to. So have unions sponsor it. Create more unions. There's many ways of funding this thing. And if it's really good and it works well, have more than one of them. I mean, more than two of them. Put one on the Canadian border. Have three of them. As long as they're competing. The only rule would be each company has to own it separately. It's the only issue. Separate companies. That's the only rule that we have to have. The rest, go on. You'll be fine. No extra taxpayer dollars. Free going back and forth as much as possible. You'll be documented. We're all safer. The amount of undocumented workers over time will shrink to so small any bad hombres can be found. That will take several years. It's a longer term solution, but it's an actual solution that will actually fix this situation. Now, what about people becoming citizens? Well, if we want to, we can give them a way of being citizens if we want to, right? We can say, well, every 2 years you check in, as long as you aren't a felon, and you haven't taken any kind of welfare, you get 2 more years. Well, maybe we give them some hurdles to get over, right? If they pass a test, a civics test or an English test or insert thing here, they get the next card, which is the yellow card or whatever that is, right? And the next level, then they get a green card. And the next level or levels, then they get citizenship. And that can be a 5-year or 6-year or a 10-year or 20-year, whatever the case may be. But the issue is that's now done by the private company. What does that mean? That means anyone who's in line now doesn't get bumped out of line. Does it make it unfair for anyone who's gone through the other way of doing it? They don't get affected. Not them, separate system. In fact, if they like this system better, they leave the old system and do the orange card system. So you know what? I was here through that. I don't like that. I'm going to the Ellis Islands. I'm going to do the orange card thing. It's better. Let's hope they all go through the orange card, in which case, no need for immigration. Makes immigration, basically makes immigration unnecessary because we got this. So it actually could work. I hope that was clear. I know it was a bit long, but you wanted me to expand. I hope I expanded. All right. Let me see if I can grab some more of these. I appreciate everything you're talking about. Chafee is great. I just wish you had done it the right way, right? Yeah. Parental alienation is child abuse. I agree completely. I think we do want our parents to, kids to have the best chance to be with their kin. I agree. Would you consider another run to take down Emperor Cuomo in 2022? I would absolutely consider running again. And for those of you who might think, well, Larry, you can't run because you're going to be the VP. I'm not going to be the VP, even if we win this thing. If we win this thing, they're going to select the president, right, from the top three, and they select the VP from the top 2. So it's going to be Gray and Pence, or Gray and what? Kamala Harris. Is that who Biden's going to pick? Whoever's going to pick, right? So it'll be those two. It won't be me. So either way, I'm available for New York. The question is, am I more popular for New York, and can I raise more money for New York because I had this VP run, and now I got a shot at beating Cuomo, and if I'm lucky, I got Judge Gray in the White House rah-rahing for me from D.C. to beat Cuomo. So yes, absolutely. Do you have any books you recommend? Tons of them. Lots of books I recommend. One of the best ones for you to start thinking about what to do for leaders is the book by Simon Sinek called Start With Why. A book for communicating with people in general is any book by Mark Goulston. He is a brilliant author and genius. I think his most recent book is Talking to Crazy. It's a great book on how to talk to people. Love that. For your life, anything by Robert Ringer. Robert Ringer is also a brilliant. He's the one who got me into kind of the libertarian viewpoint years ago before I was actually libertarian. Robert Ringer is a great author. When it comes to libertarian books themselves, Bastiat's The Law. Frederick Bastiat, his The Law book, I think is in my view one of the best libertarian books ever written. It's short, it's clear. It's from about 160 years ago, give or take, if my math is right. But it's still, you can see the parallels, and it's from France. It's from like 1850s France, I think, 1830s France, and the parallels today are exactly the same. You can see it. So I hope that was good. Let's see. You are being smart in building a strong foundation for a run. Yes, everyone wants to try to crash course for joke runs that are putting in the time. I'm trying. Yes, Jeremy, look, I talked about this, and some of you may remember I put a video out in 2016. This was a 10-year plan for me, a 7 to 10-year plan for me, and I'm still in it. 4 years deep into my 7 to 10-year plan for us to take the White House. I wasn't joking. I knew it would be a long-term, this is a campaign. We're fighting a long-term campaign to change this country. If we don't do that, we are going to be in trouble in the next couple of years. Everything people are saying, debt, violence, anger, COVID, fear, it's here. The only way of getting around it is the liberty movement. So yes, we have to be prepared to lose some battles, to win some battles, so we can actually win the war. So yes, Utah was close. Utah may be one of our states, Benjamin. It might be one of our states. Absolutely, might be one of our states. So now that Amash is not going to the post-nomination, will you and Judge Gray encourage him to run for his current seat as Libertarian? We're not that close. I mean, I know Amash. We've spoken before, but him and I are not that close. I don't know if he would take my advice, so I don't know. But I'm sure his people hear us. And yes, we would love for him to run as a Libertarian, either for his current seat or even for Senate as Libertarian. Either one, but we'd love for him to stay in the House as Libertarian, of course. But just being forward, Boyd, I'm not that close to him. I don't think he would just go, Larry, what do you want? I wish he would. If you're listening, Justin, call me. I'm happy to give you my advice. But I don't think I'm not that close to be able to tell him that. But he already knows that's what we'd like. Should trust busting be part of the Libertarian policy? After all monopolies are results of government favoritism and artificial barriers to entry. Yes, I do. And this is something that libertarians sometimes struggle with, right? Do we want to bust monopolies? I think we do, right? I think we do. We want monopoly is bad, period. And as your point's exactly right. Almost always monopolies are because of government. Almost, that's not a 100% rule, but almost always true is because of government. So if it's a government form monopoly, without question, break them up. We made the error. We have to fix it. Natural monopolies are tougher. They're tougher. I think the government can spend more time encouraging others versus actively busting them up. What I mean by that is things like Google. Google is basically a monopoly. It's not 100%, but it's really close to monopoly. How do you break up Google? You can't. So, I mean, you can, but it would just go badly. So you'd have to instead encourage other competitors, which I know is government being involved in the market. And I know it gets some libertarians to be angry. But I think we do have to worry about monopolies. Monopolies change everything. They shift things around, and government winds up supporting the monopoly, right? One of the reasons why you find Facebook wanting to be regulated. Facebook is almost a monopoly. Not 100%, but it's getting close in many ways. It's a powerhouse, I would say. Facebook isn't a monopoly. Google kind of is. Facebook is more part of an oligarchy. That's maybe a better way of putting it. So the oligarchs want to be regulated because once they're regulated, it locks them in as a top 2, 3, or 4, social media platforms, and it stops anyone else from coming in. So then what we have to do is when we see the monopoly, make sure that the field is wide open for someone else to come in. I think that's how we deal with busting monopolies, unless, of course, government has literally made that happen. I hope that was clear. States right? Yeah, it does. It does, Jeremy. People don't get it. So yeah, we have to explain sometimes. That's all. We just got to explain. That's it. Thank you. I hope we actually can make that happen. Is a general dislike of Trump's power catalyzing people to turn towards libertarianism? From what we see, no. And I wish it were true. From what we see, not much. What is turning most people on to do, there's 3 things. Part of it's libertarian, but libertarian isn't number 1. I hope we can change that. And with a good campaign, we can. Number 1, it's actually turning some Republicans just into neutral. Some Republicans are becoming apathetic. They're just like, oh, God, another one. And they're kind of walking away. But on top of that, it's really getting Democrats energized. If you've talked, I live in New York City. Democrats are super energized, and they are 100% going with that. Vote blue no matter who. That is working right now for Democrats. It is really working. So a dislike of Trump's power is turning a lot of Republicans into whatever, right? The hardcore Trump lovers still love Trump hardcore. They haven't changed. But a lot of Republicans who did support Trump and still do, they're just much more apathetic. You just not hearing them talking about like, whatever, fine, still hate Biden, but they're becoming more apathetic. And the issue is they may not vote. They might stay home. Some people will go to Biden, some will, but many are becoming apathetic. The Democrats are completely energized like they've never been. Excuse me, they are super energized. And the third party is moving towards third party in general to include the Libertarian Party. But Greens are getting people. They're looking at Greens. They're looking at independents. They're looking at Libertarians, Constitution Party, Veterans Party. It's my little girl. So, yes, I think that's happening. It is happening towards libertarianism. I guess it is, but just not as much as I'd like it to. I wish it was more. And I think if we have a good campaign, I do think that it will move more towards libertarianism. Do you have ideas on when you'll be able to campaign? We're going to hope to start next month. That's the hope, right? If any states begin to open up, and they are now, we'll go there, right? I don't care where we're going to go. Get in a plane, get in a car, drive, whatever, get there. Go. If the states will be open, we will go. Will we show respect and wear masks and all type of thing? Of course, we do 6 feet, whatever. We'll do whatever is the respectful thing to do. I do think we should be able to campaign, but I also don't want to insult the local people. Of course not. So I would follow whatever way we would do it. Having Shitter going on the Breakfast Club, 100%. They don't want to talk to us. I asked so many times, Myron. The closest I got was Ebro in the morning. And if you ever watch when I do the Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live, that's my intro. That's when I was on Ebro in the morning. It's the closest I've gotten. But no, I want to. Do you know somebody? Let them know. I'm ready to get on. I'd love to get on. We've reached out more than once. They don't respond to us. The Breakfast Club tends to like Democrats and not Libertarians. So thank you. I'm glad you like the plan. That's what we're trying to achieve. I'm hoping. I hear you and Gray say audit this, audit that. You think people will care to make change? I'm not sure. It really is. It's a great question, Joe. I just don't think they'll hear anything else. And I hope that's not a cop-out. I don't want it to be, because I don't feel like it is. I want to be able to get people to understand that this is bad and we've got to do something. If we audit a lot, my gut is certain things will pop to the top, right? We'll audit something and people will go, whatever. But then somebody else will do it and they'll go, oh my God, look how horrible this is. And when the press takes it, and that's what I assume will happen, Joe. Look, the press's job is not to inform us, is not to educate us. The press's job is to be seen. That's their job. So if something cool pops up, they'll throw this up and go, oh my God, look at this. You know, remember how they were attacking the VA for so long? I'm going to change the VA. And we made some changes to the VA. They weren't great, but we made some changes because the press jumped on it. If the press jumps on this, and then there is us as libertarians, an actual, legal push. I'm sorry, not legal. A political push to make this happen. I think we will make some changes. Sadly, I think not that fast. I wish we would. I just don't think we will. There's a certain amount of political, cachet that you want to spend until people go, stop, we don't want to hear it anymore, right? They're fighting you back. I think we got to pick our battles, audit the right ones, end the right ones. And critical is going to be things like the Fed. That's a big one. If we could work on that, that's at least, if we actually audited the Fed and then wanted to end it, that's at least a 5-year plan. Think about it. We got to figure out, what are we going to base our money on? Are we going to base our money on something? Are we going to have competing money? Are we going to use blockchain? How are we going to make this thing work? That's not an easy answer, particularly for people who their entire lives only know dollars, right? How do you make that change? How does the government collect its money when it collects money, right? Is it only through dollars? Is it through something else? So not that it's impossible. It's totally possible. And eventually it needs to happen. Joe, it will eventually happen. The question is, how fast can we make it happen and how safely can we make it happen without people getting so afraid? So I think the audit thing is everything. People will hear it. And then we start with planning, right? You start planning how to take apart the military-industrial complex. Why? Because the military-industrial complex is a massive jobs program. And if you're going to say, I'm going to fire 2 million people, people don't like that. You get thrown out of office for that. Your plan doesn't work. But when you have a way of saying, here's how we're going to get these people off, they go, oh, okay, there's a plan. You feed them back into the system. So I hope that was an answer. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. I feel the same way. All right. Your thoughts on shared parenting. I have spoken about family law in New York State a bazillion times. I am all about shared parenting. I am all about keeping kids with family to the best of their ability. I'm all about it. Our system is garbage. And here's what I promise you. I've already bugged the judge about this. We will talk about the federal government actually making incentives to local states to hurt our children. That is a fact. It's happening. They give money to trash families. That will end. We will be against it 100%. If the judge wins, that's ending. That's going away. That is going away. We do not need the federal government trying to make sure that families get taken away. Excuse me. It's horrible. So, yes, 100%. I'm with you, and we have to change it. And sadly, the federal government doesn't talk about it. The federal candidates hardly ever talk about it. I will. I have. I still do. Anytime it comes up. Also, I'm sorry. Also, Kokesh does too. I want to give Kokesh credit. Adam Kokesh also talks about this issue also, but it's only him and I. We're the only ones who talk about it. No one else does. They don't seem to care. They think it doesn't matter. But we do talk about it 100%. Yes. All right. I've been following the LGBP presidential candidates a while, and while I like Judge Gray and Mon's okay, and I think they'd be fine candidates, they seem to be trailing. What happens to the LP if a Hornberger, Kokesh, or Vermin Supreme who acts like it's domination? I brought it up before, and I'm happy to talk about it. I think if either Hornberger, I don't think Kokesh will get it because I think his following is too small, and he actually has a plan. And people in our party who are very much about rhetoric actually don't like plans. They just want heavy rhetoric. That's what Hornberger brings, heavy rhetoric, no plan. So I think Kokesh brings rhetoric and a plan. So my gut tells me that he won't win because of that. Sounds crazy, but I think it's true. I think Kokesh is at least 10 years ahead of his time, if not 20. He's ahead of it. It's my view. He's just ahead of his time. I don't think that the party's going to nominate him, but I could be wrong. I think if Hornberger or Vermin Supreme win, I think two things will happen. Number one, we might get 5%. It's possible, particularly with Vermin. I don't think with Hornberger, but Vermin Supreme is very popular, and we might get 5%. But with both of them, zero chance of winning the popular vote, zero chance of winning a state at all, period. We will not win one state at all. There will not be one state that we will win. No chance getting the presidency. Not going to happen at all. Because what will happen with both of them is they will motivate the youth, but they will alienate the 50 plus, right? Vermin Supreme alienates 50 plus because of the joke candidate idea, right? The 50 plus people don't get the joke. That's not a 100% rule, but it's a massive rule. And those who vote, they're not going to vote for him. So we're going to lose them for at least 10 years. We're going to lose the 50 plus for at least 10 years. We may motivate the young, but the young generally don't vote. So we're gonna slow the party down for at least 10 years, but they might pop up all of a sudden after the youth begin to vote who've liked the Vermins of the world for the last 10 years. That might happen, but we're going to stifle the party for about 10 years. And something else, we won't be able to get people to run. Who's going to want to run? Locally, as soon as they begin to run, they're going to be a picture of him and the guy with the boot in his head is going to be the person going to run with them. It's going to be hard to find candidates if Vermin wins. Hornberger wants to abolish everything that people who are over 50 have believed in for 50 years. People don't like that. They're going to be upset, scared. They're not going to vote for him. And so now, anytime someone runs locally, they're going to say, so you're a libertarian. So you want to make my grandmother starve? They say that already. That will be reinforced if Hornberger wins. They'll say it every time. So you want my kids to be stupid? So you want my grandma to die? So you hate poor people? That's going to be every single time if Hornberger wins. If Vermin wins, it's going to be, oh, you're a joke. That's going to be the problem. So could Vermin Supreme get 5%? Yeah, he could. If you want 5%, Vermin Supreme is not a bad vote, to be forward with you. I'm not supporting Vermin Supreme, but I'm trying to give the man props. He's smart. He's funny. He's got a huge following. Could he get 5%? Probably. I think he will alienate most people who are over 50, which will hurt a down ticket. And I'm not about that. I'm about helping the down ticket. I think Hornberger and Supreme hurt the down ticket. That's why the major reason why I'm behind Gray. I think that's what will happen if those two win. I hope that was clear. So, yes, we should rent a Kardashian. You are right. All right, so let's see if I can do this. What does an exciting enough town hall to get in debates look like? Yeah, I think it looks like the judge and I bouncing good ideas off of each other. I think it's me kind of teeing it up so he can get out of the park. I think it's that. Remember, my role, the VP's role is hype man. That's the VP's role. I'm running to be the hype guy, right? That's what I'm doing. No one's going to vote for me, right? I mean, you guys will in the party. You better, right? You guys will be in the party, but outside the party, they're voting for him or Biden or Trump. They're not voting for me. They're voting for him. So my goal is to set it up so he knocks it out of the park. That's the goal. It's got to be interesting, funny. It's got to be funny. If you can't, and Mark Whitney said this, and he's so right. If you can't get a laugh, you can't be president. And that's not a joke. That's reality. If you can't get a laugh, you can't be president. That's a fact. And so we got to make sure the judge is getting a laugh or even a smile or a smirk. I'll get a couple laughs. Interesting. If we can make the other goal be to make the host kind of be like, what did he say? Or silent or not know how to answer. And when they throw the gotcha questions, which they always do, when they realize the gotcha questions don't work, and I've done that very well in the interviews I've been in, I don't let gotcha questions work. I turn them on the interviewer. When that happens, and I'll help the judge with that, that's what an exciting enough town hall looks like. And of course, more importantly, thank you for this, Joe. It's not just the town hall. Because remember, they make their ad revenue not just from live cable TV. They also make their ad revenue from all the rewatches on social media. So if we are watching and sharing and clicking and commenting and doing all those things higher than anything else, that's what exciting enough looks like. Hope that was clear. So, thank you for your TV debate answer. Yes, I think it's the only way we can do it. Absolutely. Marvel or DC, who's your favorite superhero? I always like the superhero who doesn't have superpowers. That's the hero I like. I like the regular guy who is still as amazing or as powerful or special as superheroes. So Marvel, Iron Man, DC, Batman. These are regular people who are just smart and rich. They're smart and rich, and they use their other assets to be as powerful as, the magical people like Superman and the Hulk and such. So that's what I like. I like the regular guy or gal who becomes awesome because of their resources and their brain. So I hope that answers your question. DC, it's Batman, 100%. Marvel, Iron Man, 100%. And when I was a kid, I had all of their comics and everything. And when it comes to villains, I like Dr. Doom. He is my favorite. Hold on. Oh, I have this here. Dr. Doom. That is my favorite villain. Victor Von Doom. I actually keep it here. Someone knew that and actually sent that to me as a gift when I was running for office. They sent this as a gift because they knew that I liked it so much. Dr. Doom is, again, a regular person who is super smart, uses technology and his money to do what he wants. And his whole goal, by the way, is to save his mother. People don't know that. That's his whole goal. Anyone gets in his way, he crushes them. But his goal is to save his mom. So I hope I answered your question. Yes. Focus on Georgia, Maine, New Mexico, New Hampshire at the very least. I like your ideas. I love it. Good. All right. How do we plan to have a ground game? Yes, the ground game will all be local. And luckily for me, when I ran my gubernatorial campaign, most of my team, about half my team, wasn't in New York State. So I have a lot of people throughout the country who know who I am, who will help me to do that, right? Who will help me do that. Plus, I know a lot of candidates who are running, right? I mean, you see them on my show almost every day, right? So I know a lot of candidates who are also running, and we can do joint events. Joint events are going to be so critical, right? So when we show up, we're all together, and when we don't show up, we'll do things like this. That's how we'll do it. So, will you make sure the judge wears a suit that actually fits? Yes, I will, and I might actually put a jacket on too. See that? I'll do that. I will put a jacket on also. Yes. Will you commit to continue doing these live videos as VP or president for the rest of your political career? LOL. There's no LOL. If you guys remember, the first show I started doing, if you're paying attention, was called the Gov Shack. I was doing the Gov Shack while I was running for governor. I was doing a 2-hour AMA. It was call-in, right? Because when I was able to have a studio, I can't have a studio now. So yeah, I was doing a call-in show while I was running. I wanted people to talk to me and be accessible. Absolutely. And then when I was done running, I started Sharpe Way. So yeah, already doing it. 100% yes. So Larry, I met you in Rochester during the 2018 election season. Do you still believe downstate and upstate should still be New York State? Yes, as long as we do what I talked about, which is I want us to have home rule. I want counties to be counties and cities to be cities. This idea of 10th Amendment states' rights. I believe in states' rights 100%. I do. And I believe in county rights. I think government should be as local as possible, as low as we can get it. If the government is more local and New York City isn't controlling the entire state for you New Yorkers, or if you're in Illinois, Chicago, controlling the entire state, if that's not happening, you don't care anymore. You're fine being all New York. It's just those crazy people down there, crazy people up there do that. So yes, I believe we should be, but we can't be if we don't let people be who they want to be. And that's the entire libertarian message. So, all right. Yeah, Judge Green needs to be a little more libertarian to be in the mean and be distinguishable from the Republicans who are pro-marijuana. Yeah, and I think he is. But remember, he's a judge. He speaks like a judge. He acts like a judge. I'm doing my best to shift that. So, yes. All right. Let's see. What kind of judges would be a libertarian president appoint? It's a great question. I think he'd look for the most libertarian judges. I mean, there are many of them out there. He'd look for them. That's the one thing I'm fine with, right? You're talking about Judge Jim Gray is a judge who in 1992, in the height of the drug war, literally did a press conference saying how bad the war on drugs was. A sitting judge had a press conference. This war on drugs isn't working. 1992. He'll be fine. He knows the guys and gals to pick. He'll be fine. There we go. Thank you. I appreciate that, kid. I do like my my immigration. I've thought about it for a while. I've been trying to make it work. It has been difficult, but I get it. Under NIT. Actually, it's called, by the way, CTL. It is a crutch to a ladder. If a couple is married, only one of them has an income. Does the other get $15K a year? Yes, this falls into the Yang concept, right? The Yang concept was, aren't people who are taking care of others, aren't they also valuable to our society? Aren't they important? Don't we want to give them a reason to get up and work and make even more, right? Once someone starts making $15K, don't they want to make 20 or 30 or 40? If they do, then this gives them incentive to move up to get more money. So yes, even they would too. Yes. And if you want to have a stay-at-home mom, that's sexist. A stay-at-home parent. I'm sorry. I know so many people I know that are at home are stay-at-home moms. So that was my own bias. A stay-at-home parent. If you want to have a stay-at-home parent, then absolutely, we would support them. Sure. Privatize Ellis Islands seems to me like a bad idea. It encourages monopoly control and collusion with other companies, meaning if Company A and Company C have made a deal with two other border controls. I think that is a worry. But if I look now at the current closest model I can find, and the current closest model is recruiting companies. And that has not happened in recruiting companies. So I think it's possible. I think we should watch for it. It could happen. But the current model that I see, it has not happened. Recruiting companies have not done this at all. In fact, they compete, and they compete strongly. So I hope you're wrong. I think the model shows it won't happen, but it's a valid question, and it might happen. We should look for it. All right. So many laws and voters might sound good to people on the surface, but so few are not really reading everything else that's in them. Correct. Yes, absolutely. So let me keep going. If he's Batman, then I don't know who I'm going to be. All right. We'll figure it out. I love it. All right. Let's see if I can keep going a little further down here. Wow, you guys, a lot of questions. Okay, I'm getting to you all. I promise. I'm trying to get to all of you if I possibly can. I'm on my way. All right. I was thinking about a pay for citizenship program. There is one. Literally, I think it's $1 million. The numbers changed recently. If you come in and you invest, I forgot. I'm going to make up these numbers. I don't know what they are, but it's something like if you invest $1 million and hire 10 people or whatever it is, you get a green card or something like that. So yes, they have that type of program already. I'm not really a fan of it, to tell you the truth. It's not the end of the world. I mean, do I really want to pay for citizenship? Would I give someone a green card or an orange card if they came and they were starting businesses? Yeah, probably. But paying for citizenship just, I don't know, feels wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. It feels wrong. I haven't thought of it enough to say if it actually is wrong, but it just feels wrong. So I love the idea of leasing out bridges and subways while running for governor. Is there a similar idea that can be applied on the federal level? Sure, you can either sell back and or lease back either one federal lands, right? We have a lot, as I was talking earlier about the idea of how do we stop paying some of our debt. Sadly, our debt's so high that if we sold all of our federal land back to the states, we still can pay our debt. But could we begin leasing it for 5, 10, 20 years, something like that, to private organizations who might want to use it for something? Maybe. I mean, that would be an option you could consider. I don't know how that would work in detail, but it could work. And then that would be another form of revenue. And maybe that revenue could begin to pay off the debt, right? Just have that going into the debt, paying the debt off. So we could do it in that way in theory. There is some, right? Of course we could. Yes. Let's see. But Larry, what if the two companies are corrupt? We need unlimited Ellis Islands. Joe, I'm in. As many as we can get. Okay. Look, if this, again, to my point, if the Ellis Island idea works, they'll want to be more of them. Okay. If there are that many immigrant issues, why not do it? If there are that many, why not do it? Of course. And another thing is, if the immigrant issues work to where we're putting people at work, you don't have to be an immigrant. You can make it to be anybody wants a job. Head over to Ellis Island. There's the immigrant room where you get the orange card. Then there's no, I'm just ready to move anywhere to get a job. It's that one. Okay, then that's something else. They get paid either way. Why would they care if you happen to be an immigrant or not? You could go there just regular if you wanted to. You've lost your job. You don't care where you move. Head over to the Ellis Island. Have them put you in a job someplace. Off to Idaho you go. I don't mind. Add it anywhere you like. 100%. Yes. Let's see. Yes, Keith, I will need a whole lot more money. Yes. All right. Let's see if I can get some more of these. Let's see. Innovation breaks up monopolies. Yes, absolutely. As do some events. So we should be doing everything we can to encourage innovation, right? In my state, New York, we've crushed it with regulation. We've crushed it. So I think instead you really want to be helping to encourage the best of your ability this idea of innovation, so monopolies will break up normally. Yes, I love it. I explained this one already, guys. You might have missed it. As long as someone can do and make the impact that I want, I'm totally fine. Right? Totally fine. Okay. All right. With Democrats, Republicans, with the monopoly on government, how can we take other parties serious to where I feel my vote was not wasted? Well, here's what I would tell you. If you are in a state that is not a battleground state, meaning Michigan or Florida or Pennsylvania, your vote is wasted. Your vote's wasted. If you vote for a blue or red in New York State, what a wasted vote. What's going to happen in New York State? Biden gets it. Of course. Your vote's wasted. You threw your vote away. I'm going to vote for Trump. So he's not getting it. I'm going to vote for Biden. Yeah, and so another 6 million New Yorkers. I'm not impressed. In both cases, your vote is wasted. But if you said no, I'm going to vote gold. If I vote gold, I will show people what's important. I will make some impact. I will show that gold matters. I will push the other people towards libertarianism because they'll have to, because they'll want those votes. I'll maintain ballot access for a third party in a state. Well, all of a sudden, your vote's got some power, doesn't it, Joseph? That's a powerful vote. The first one, throw that in the garbage. Stay home. Who cares? You live in New York State, stay home. Biden wins. What are you doing? Unless you're going to vote for Libertarian. in which case, now your vote matters. Your vote only matters if you vote Libertarian. Otherwise, it's a waste of vote. So that's really the answer. All right. I see a Snowden poster behind you. How do you feel about him being stuck in Russia? How do you feel about Julian Assange? I love Snowden. I think he's great. If I was ever president, I would pardon him and give him Medal of Freedom. Pardon him, Medal of Freedom. Absolutely. Big fan. Assange, I'm not as, because I think Assange may have some dirt on him. I'm not sure about him. I'm unsure about Assange. He's definitely getting railroaded, that's for sure. He's getting railroaded, that I'm sure about. So something's wrong there, but I don't know enough about that. So something's wrong there. Snowden, hero. That's why he's on my wall. Hero. Absolutely. Pardon and Medal of Freedom. I hope I answered your question. All right. I hope Gray would pardon exonerate Julian Assange and Edward Snowden unilaterally. I don't think he will. He's already said that he wants to bring them both home. He knows something's wrong with both. He wants to audit both. He isn't, to be forward, the judge has not spent a lot of time looking at these two people at all. He doesn't have the background on this yet. I will hope to change his mind. But he doesn't have the background on it right now. I will give him the background. I hope he goes my way. He may not. But I hope he'll go my way. He just doesn't have, this isn't something he's been talking about or working on. So he doesn't have, he's like, well, let's investigate. Looks like something's wrong here. That's where he is right now with that. I wish it was better. And I'll talk to him about it. That I promise you. I promise I will talk to him about this. That I promise. All right. How do you win over the capitalism is evil people? Some of them you can't. To be forward, Myron. Some of them you can't. There are certain people who simply are not going to turn. These aren't. And the problem is because most people, when they hear capitalism, they think crony capitalism because for so much of our life, that's what it's been. Right? They're right. Crony capitalism is evil. But capitalism isn't. Crony capitalism is. That's mostly what they know. Right? So we have to turn them into understanding that what you're talking about that is evil is crony capitalism. And you're right. That's evil. Capitalism, though, has pulled more people out of poverty than anything else ever. And poverty is the number one killer of humans on the planet. Poverty is the worst, right? Gandhi said poverty is a crime against humanity. Yeah. So capitalism does fix that. The issue is you'll hear me spend more time saying things like consumer driven, more choices, breaking monopolies. I'm talking about capitalism. I don't usually say those words because capitalism people in America think crony capitalism. That's what they hear when you say it. I think that's how you break it. By not using that word specifically, when it comes up, expressing that they mean crony capitalism, like saying this you mean. And every time I've done it, they go, yeah, that's what I mean. That's capitalism. I go, actually, that's crony capitalism. That's not capitalism. That's crony capitalism. And that is bad. You're right. I think that helps. All right. Is there a person out there you think can legitimize the Libertarian Party, i.e. more votes cast for the third party? Yeah, me and the judge. Two people, Jacob. Come on. That's what I'm talking about here. Yes. Yes, exactly. Let's see. In the case of a Hornberger Sharpe ticket happens, hope you turn this day one plan into a 2-year beta tested plan. I would hope so. Yes, the 1-day plan. It's a scary. It's scary. Yeah. So Batman, no power is just money. I didn't say that. I didn't say no power is just money, Aaron. I said no powers, money, brains. Money and brains, not just money. You misquote me. Yes, Batman, Iron Man, no powers, money, and brains. Both. They are both, by the way, if you know, both very smart, very physically fit, and super wealthy. So all of those things. Yes. So good. Which substances will the judge deschedule? He said off the bat he descheduled cannabis. Off the bat. The other things he's not sure how we deal with the children issue. That's always been his issue, and he's concerned. And again, this is where he stands. He wants adults to be able to use any substances that they want to use in any way they want to. It is your body. You do what you want. His worry is how do we make sure that children aren't getting things like opioids and things of that sort. And that's where his worry has been. Like, how do I work that? So he's much more open to decriminalization on cannabis. He's more into legalization when it comes to opioids because he does want to avoid the children from getting it. That's an issue he has. I know some libertarians don't like that. I'm telling you where he is. That's what a judge is. He wants decrim cannabis, legalize opioids because he is concerned about children and opioids. So I hope that was good. Soft tacos. Soft tacos is where I like it. Tacos and burritos. Soft tacos. I'm a soft taco guy. I'm not really a big cheese guy. I like very, very spicy hot sauce. Super, super hot salsa. I love that. Very hot. Like I'm crying and like my nose is running. Love that. Not a big fan of the cheese. Not a big fan. So yes. So Aaron, is that because of the money part or the brain part? See? Brains too. All right. Yes. All right. So I think you guys like that piece. Thank you for my action figure. Yes. Yes, Doom is a great villain. I had no idea you were well versed in comics. Absolutely. I'll tell you a terrible story. I was so into comics as a kid. So much. I had subscriptions, meaning it's the 70s. And they would come in the mail every month. I was a huge trader. I literally had Iron Man #1, Avengers #1. I bought Avengers #1 in 1979, I think, for $65. I bought it at, believe it or not, it was a Creation comic book convention in New York City. I would go there all the time. Every year I'd go and buy and sell and swap. I had them all in like plastics and all that stuff. Went up to the Marine Corps. My mom threw it all away. Thought, he doesn't need it anymore. Throw my comics out. Tens of thousands of dollars. Maybe 100,000 now. Gone. All in garbage. Went to Marine Corps. Never had it again. I was super into comics. Absolutely. I had about 10 or 12 subscriptions. I would write my money order out when I was a kid in the 70s, and I mailed it to Marvel and to DC, and my comics came in the mail every month. I had tons of them. All, and I was a trader. I would copy the origin of Spider-Man. Not the original Spider-Man. There was an origin comic guy, the origin book, all that kind of. I had the first time where DC and Marvel ever got together. It was a large comic. That was Spider-Man versus Superman. If you guys remember that, some of you old school guys know that one. I actually had that comic. I bought it. I had that comic when it came out. I had that one too. Gone. It was the first time DC and Marvel mixed. It was a Spider-Man versus Superman comic book. I'm going to guess 1978, 79. I'm going to guess in that area. First happened. Anyway, so yes, I was a big comic fan. Not so much anymore. I still love the movies and stuff. I still watch them. But I hardly ever buy comics anymore. I mean, here or there. Like I like something, I'll grab something, but hardly ever. I think the last comic book I ever got into was probably Spawn. What's that, 20 years ago? Give or take? Maybe that. Probably the last one. All right. Let's see. Let me see if I can keep going. Yes, it was very rough. Absolutely. All right. So you guys don't like soft tacos. What? Is that that's what got you? Oh, all right. Thank you. Yes. All right. Pineapples on pizza. All right. Let me be clear on pineapples on pizza. I am absolute libertarian. I do not believe in death penalty or violence, with one exception. If you put pineapple on pizza, you can be executed. That's the only exception. That's it. Pineapple on pizza. Yes, you should be executed. If you once caught with pineapple on pizza and you immediately apologize, beg for forgiveness from every New York resident that you dared destroy our beloved pizza with pineapple on it, if you beg for forgiveness, then you should just be in prison for life. But if you will not immediately beg, you should, summary execution. Done. No exception. That's the end. No pineapple on pizza ever. I'm sorry. I'm a New Yorker. That's how it works. Sorry. Yes. Okay. So yeah, I hope that was good. Can we agree with you? Yes, that's being careful with your language. Cronyism is like, yes, absolutely. I still to this day make errors with my language, but I try very hard to do a good job. And I got to give some credit to someone who helped me with this more than once. And that, believe it or not, is Mike Shipley. Mike Shipley made me rethink some of the way that I say things. And I try to be better because of the things he said. So I know some of you like him, some of you don't. I don't care. I love Mike Shipley. He has definitely made me rethink kind of the way that I say things, and I'm trying to be better with my language. I still make mistakes. I have bad habits. I still do it. But I'm trying to be more inclusive in my language. I'm trying to be better in my language to show that, I care about how people feel. I care about what happens to people's feelings. It does matter. It just does. So I hope that was clear. So, all right. So, where am I? Agree with both pineapple topping and the soft taco. See, somebody gets it. Somebody gets it. There we go. Thoughts on Ben Shapiro. He's often stated as he leans libertarian on many issues. So conservative, of course, but his mainstream personality that I could see backing a libertarian candidate. I don't know. Ben Shapiro he's like a Republican libertarian, right? Like he has some libertarian leanings, but he does jump on the Republican side a lot. Look, if he wants to support us, I'm happy. I mean, support us. I'd love to have him. Somebody wants to, have us on his show. Fine. But I think he's more Republican than he is. I'm not I don't follow him very much, so I don't really know. But I feel like he's more Republican than Libertarian. I could be wrong. All right, guys. I try to get as many people as I could. So I'm for an hour and a half. I love you all. Thank you so much. What I want to ask you is always, please like, comment, and share. It's important. Head over to my social media, please. Right now, if you haven't gone to the Twitter, if you haven't gone to the YouTube, if you haven't gone to the Facebook, go now. Click on it. Like and subscribe. These little things matter. It makes it all grow bigger. The algorithms keep going. It does matter. And of course, if you're in a good position to give, heading over to patreon.com/Sharpe. Throw me $5, $10, $20. If you're Elon Musk and you got tons of money, throw me $500 a month if you got that kind of money. I love it. But if you don't, and I get a lot of people don't, no worries. Like, comment, and share is free. Do that. We need to keep growing. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I will see you all soon, probably tomorrow.